Chapter 1. The Silent Morning. It began on a morning like any other. The sun rose over peaceful cities. Airplanes crossed the sky. Farmers worked their fields. Children walked to school. And satellites quietly orbited Earth. Then, without warning, every bird on the planet stopped flying. Millions of birds landed at once, staring upward as if they sensed something humans could not. Astronomers noticed strange dark shapes moving beyond the clouds. At first, they believed them to be unknown weather formations. They were wrong. Chapter 2. The First Shadow. At exactly 9:17 a.m. UTC, the first shadow crossed Europe. People looked up expecting an eclipse. Instead, they saw something enormous moving through the clouds. It wasn't a spaceship. It wasn't an aircraft. It looked alive. Its wings stretched for kilometers, blotting out the sunlight before disappearing again into the storm clouds. Governments immediately denied any danger, but the internet had already seen it. Videos spread across every platform within minutes. The world realized they were not alone. Chapter 3. Attack from Above. The first attack came over the Pacific Ocean. A cargo ship reported strange screams echoing from the sky. Then radar contact vanished. Rescue helicopters found nothing except floating debris and twisted steel. No survivors, no explosion, no distress call, only deep claw marks carved into the ship's hull. Whatever attacked came from above and disappeared back into the clouds. Fear spread across the globe. Chapter 4. Night falls early. That evening, darkness arrived hours too soon. Massive clouds covered continents. Power grids began failing. Communication satellites lost contact one by one. Military aircraft sent to investigate never returned. Pilots reported glowing eyes inside the storm before transmission ended with screams. The skies no longer belong to humanity. Chapter 5. Humanity Watches. Emergency meetings were held across every nation. Scientists argued. Generals prepared. Religious leaders prayed. Ordinary families locked their doors, though they knew doors could not stop something that lived in the sky. Then every television, phone, and radio received the same emergency broadcast. Remain indoors. Do not look at the sky after sunset. No explanation followed. Only silence. And outside, something enormous screamed above the clouds. Chapter 6. The First Survivor. At sunrise, rescue teams searched the coastline where the cargo ship had disappeared. Hours later, they found a single survivor drifting on a broken lifeboat. His body was covered in deep scratches, but it was his words that terrified everyone. It wasn't a machine. It hunted us. Before anyone could ask more, he looked toward the sky with horror in his eyes. They're still watching. Moments later, a dark shape passed over the clouds. The survivor screamed, and then his heart stopped. Chapter 7. Eyes Above the Clouds. Military satellites were redirected toward the storms. For a few seconds, one satellite captured a clear image. Hundreds of gigantic winged creatures circled high above Earth. Each was larger than a football stadium. Before another image could be taken, every satellite in orbit went offline. The skies had gone blind. Humanity no longer knew what was above them. Chapter 8. The City That Vanished. A small mountain city suddenly lost all communication. Rescue helicopters arrived the next morning. The streets were empty. Cars remained where they had stopped. Meals still sat on dinner tables, but not a single person was left. Only strange claw marks covered rooftops and buildings. No bodies, no blood, just silence. Chapter 9. Operation Sky Shield. The world's largest military alliance launched Operation Sky Shield. Hundreds of fighter jets climbed into the storm clouds together. Millions watched the live radar feed. One by one, the aircraft disappeared. No explosions, no emergency signals, only empty radar screens. The mission lasted less than 12 minutes. Not a single pilot returned. Chapter 10. The Message. That night, every television and radio on Earth activated by itself. Static filled the air. Then a deep, unfamiliar voice echoed across every language simultaneously. The sky belongs to us. The transmission ended instantly. Across the world, people looked upward in fear. The invasion had truly begun. Chapter 11. The Black Rain. The morning after the mysterious broadcast, thick black clouds gathered over every continent. Then it began to rain. But it wasn't water. Tiny black crystal-like particles drifted from the sky, covering rooftops, forests, and oceans. Wherever they landed, electronics failed instantly. Cars stalled, phones died, and power stations shut down one after another. Within hours, much of the world had fallen silent. Humanity was entering a new dark age. Chapter 12. The Sky Hunters. With satellites gone, Earth's nations launched high-altitude balloons carrying cameras. Only one balloon transmitted footage before its signal was lost. The recording revealed dozens of enormous winged creatures gliding silently above the storm layer. They weren't attacking randomly. They were patrolling. The skies had become their territory, and every aircraft was considered prey. Chapter 13. The Last Flight. Captain Elena Ross volunteered for one final reconnaissance mission. Her aircraft climbed higher than any previous attempt. For a brief moment, she broke through the cloud layer. What she saw froze her in disbelief. Above the storms floated a colossal floating fortress surrounded by hundreds of the winged creatures. She managed to send one image back to Earth. Then her transmission ended with a single sentence. They're building something. Her jet never returned. Chapter 14. Cities Without Light. As power grids collapsed, darkness spread across the world's greatest cities. Without electricity, hospitals struggled to save lives. Food supplies began running out. People gathered around candles and campfires, listening for the terrifying cries echoing overhead each night. The fear wasn't just of being attacked, it was of never seeing the sun again. Chapter 15. Humanity refuses to fall. Inside a hidden underground command bunker, leaders from every nation reached a historic agreement. Old enemies shook hands. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, and civilians united under one mission. Take back the sky. For the first time since the attacks began, humanity stopped asking how to survive. Instead, they asked one question: how do we fight back? The answer would change the fate of Earth forever. Chapter 16. Project Aegis. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, the world's brightest engineers unveiled Project Aegis, a secret defense program that had existed only on paper until now. Instead of building faster jets, they designed hypersonic drones capable of flying without human pilots. If the sky creatures hunted people, humanity would send machines. For the first time since the invasion began, hope returned. Chapter 17. The Hidden Signal. As scientists analyzed the strange crystals that had fallen from the sky, one researcher made an astonishing discovery. The crystals emitted a repeating pattern. It wasn't random noise. It was a signal. Someone or something was communicating through the storm clouds. The question was terrifying. Who was listening? Chapter 18. The First Victory. A squadron of Aegis drones launched at dawn. Unlike fighter jets, they flew silently and changed direction faster than any living creature. When the first sky beast swooped down, the drones struck together. A brilliant flash lit the clouds. Moments later, the enormous creature crashed into the ocean. Across the world, people cheered. The invaders could be killed. Chapter 19. The Swarm Awakens. The celebration lasted only minutes. High above the clouds, thousands of glowing eyes suddenly opened. The fallen creature had been only a scout. An entire swarm emerged from the darkness, stretching across the horizon like a living storm. Humanity had won its first battle, but awakened an army. Chapter 20. The Countdown. Emergency alarms echoed through every underground command center. Long-range sensors detected the swarm descending toward Earth's largest cities. Military commanders estimated humanity had less than 72 hours before the full assault began. General Marcus Hayes addressed the world. "We didn't choose this war, but we will fight it together. Every hour from now on will decide the future of our species." As the countdown began, thunder rolled across the planet. This time, it wasn't a storm. It was the sound of millions of wings. Chapter 21. The Great Descent. 72 hours passed faster than anyone expected. As dawn broke, the clouds split open. Millions of winged creatures poured from the heavens like a black tidal wave, blotting out the sun. Cities across the world fell into darkness as terrified civilians watched the impossible unfold. The invasion had begun. Chapter 22. Earth's First Stand. Every anti-aircraft battery, missile defense system, and fighter squadron opened fire at once. The sky erupted with explosions. Some of the creatures fell in flames, crashing into mountains and oceans. But for every one destroyed, 10 more emerged from the clouds. The defenders realized they weren't fighting an army. They were fighting an entire civilization. Chapter 23. The Signal Decoded. Deep inside the underground bunker, Dr. Maya Chen finally decoded the mysterious crystal signal. The message was chilling. "Prepare the planet. The Harbinger is coming." Silence filled the command room. Everything that had attacked Earth so far was only the advance force. Something far larger was still on its way. Chapter 24. The Falling Giant. During a fierce battle over the Atlantic, humanity achieved another breakthrough. A coordinated drone strike brought down one of the largest sky beasts ever seen. As it crashed into the ocean, scientists rushed to examine its remains. Inside the creature, they discovered advanced biomechanical structures, part living tissue, part machine. The monsters were not born. They had been engineered. Chapter 25. The Harbinger Appears. That night, every surviving radar station detected a single object descending from orbit. It dwarfed aircraft carriers. It dwarfed mountains. As it emerged through the storm clouds, the world stood frozen. A colossal living fortress hovered above Earth, surrounded by endless swarms of winged guardians. Then a deep voice echoed across every radio frequency. "Your world has been judged." Humanity's greatest battle was about to begin. Chapter 26. Judgment Day. The colossal Harbinger drifted silently above the Atlantic, casting a shadow across thousands of kilometers. Its surface pulsed like a living heart. Then beams of blue light swept across the planet, not destroying cities, but scanning them. Dr. Maya Chen reached a disturbing conclusion. It's not looking for resources. It's judging us. Chapter 27. Humanity Strikes Back. General Marcus Hayes refused to wait. Every remaining nation committed its strongest weapons to a single coordinated assault. Hypersonic missiles, orbital railguns, drone swarms, and experimental energy cannons streaked toward the Harbinger. The sky burned with light. For the first time, the giant fortress trembled. A section of its armored shell cracked open. the invaders could bleed. Chapter 28: The Sleeping Fleet. Through the breach, reconnaissance drones captured an unbelievable sight. Hidden inside the Harbinger were thousands of dormant winged creatures suspended in glowing chambers. The monsters that had terrorized Earth were only the first wave. An even greater army was waiting to awaken. The countdown had already begun. Chapter 29: A Voice from the Enemy. As scientists searched the damaged Harbinger's transmissions, they intercepted a private message. It wasn't meant for humanity. Resistance exceeds prediction. Request reinforcements immediately. The command bunker fell silent. If the Harbinger was asking for help, then there were others like it, somewhere among the stars. Chapter 30: Operation Skyfall. With no time to lose, humanity launched its boldest mission. A team of elite pilots and engineers boarded experimental stealth craft, carrying a powerful antimatter device. Their objective was almost impossible: infiltrate the Harbinger, destroy it from within, and reclaim the skies before the sleeping fleet could awaken. As the small fleet disappeared into the storm clouds, the fate of Earth rested on a handful of brave souls. Chapter 31: Into the Beast. The stealth craft slipped through the cracked armor of the Harbinger. Inside, the crew found no metal corridors. Instead, the walls were alive, pulsing with blue veins that carried glowing energy throughout the fortress. Every step echoed like a heartbeat. The Harbinger wasn't just a ship. It was a living organism. Chapter 32: The Forgotten Prisoners. The team entered a massive chamber filled with transparent pods. Inside were beings from dozens of alien species. Some had been asleep for centuries. Others had only recently been captured. One elderly prisoner whispered through a translator, "You're the first civilization to fight back." Humanity realized they were not the Harbinger's first victims. Chapter 33: The Hardcore. Guided by the freed prisoners, the team reached the Harbinger's core. A gigantic crystal floated above an ocean of blue energy, beating like a colossal heart. Dr. Maya Chen recognized it immediately. The black crystals that had fallen on Earth were fragments of this very core. Destroy it, and the entire fortress would collapse. Chapter 34: The Guardian King. As the antimatter device was armed, the chamber shook violently. A towering winged creature descended from the darkness. It was larger than any the team had ever seen. Golden eyes burned with intelligence. This was no ordinary beast. It was the Guardian King, the commander of the Harbinger's army. With a deafening roar, it charged. The final battle had begun. Chapter 35: The Impossible Choice. The Guardian King was too powerful. The team could either stay and ensure the antimatter device detonated, or escape and survive. There wasn't enough time for both. Captain Elena Ross, who had secretly survived her earlier mission and been held prisoner aboard the Harbinger, stepped forward. "I'll stay." The others hesitated. She smiled. "Tell Earth, the sky belongs to humanity." As the countdown reached 60 seconds, the team fled toward their escape craft, while Elena turned to face the Guardian King alone. Chapter 36: The Final Stand. Captain Elena Ross raised her energy rifle as the Guardian King charged. The chamber shook with every beat of its massive wings. She fired again and again, not to defeat it, but to keep it away from the antimatter device. Outside, the escape team raced toward their shuttle, listening to the countdown echo through their helmets. 30 seconds. Chapter 37: The Light That Shook the Heavens. The shuttle burst out of the Harbinger just as a blinding flash erupted from within. The explosion spread through the living fortress like lightning through a giant tree. Across Earth, People looked up as the enormous structure cracked apart. For the first time in weeks, blue sky appeared through the clouds. Cheers erupted around the world. Chapter 38, The Last Message. As the Harbinger fell toward the ocean, one final transmission reached every radio on Earth. It was Elena. Her voice was calm. If you're hearing this, we did it. Don't mourn me. Protect our world, and never fear the sky again. The message ended in silence. Many believed she had made the ultimate sacrifice. Chapter 39, The Greater Threat. Celebration lasted only a few hours. Deep space observatories, now back online, detected hundreds of faint signals beyond the solar system. They were moving fast. Scientists compared the readings with the Harbinger's transmissions. The conclusion was unavoidable. The Harbinger had not been the invasion. It had been a scout. The true fleet was still coming. Chapter 40, Humanity United. For the first time in history, every nation signed a single agreement. There would be no more wars between humans. Earth would become one united world, dedicated to science, defense, and exploration. Shipyards began constructing humanity's first true starships. The battle for Earth was over. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin. Chapter 41, One World, One Fleet. 5 years after the fall of the Harbinger, Earth had changed forever. National borders still existed, but the world's militaries now answered to a single command. The United Earth Fleet. Orbital shipyards surrounded the planet, building humanity's first interstellar warships. This time, humanity would not wait for the enemy to arrive. Chapter 42, Echoes from the Stars. A deep space probe detected a weak distress beacon. When the fleet reached its source, they found a shattered alien station drifting through space. The station's records revealed a horrifying truth. The Harbingers had erased hundreds of civilizations over thousands of years. Earth was the first world to destroy one of them. Across the galaxy, humanity's name had become a symbol of hope. Chapter 43, The Hidden Alliance. Soon, representatives from several surviving alien species secretly contacted Earth. They had watched humanity's victory in silence, waiting to see if humans would become conquerors or protectors. Instead of demanding power, Earth offered an alliance. For the first time in centuries, the scattered survivors stood together against the Harbingers. The resistance had been reborn. Chapter 44, Into Enemy Territory. The combined fleet launched its first mission beyond the solar system. Their destination was a dead world believed to be a Harbinger breeding ground. As the ships emerged from hyperspace, every screen lit up. Thousands of enormous winged creatures surrounded the planet, and above them floated 3 Harbingers, waiting. The enemy had expected them. Chapter 45, The War Begins. Admiral Marcus Hayes looked across the bridge of Earth's flagship. There would be no retreat. He opened a fleet-wide channel. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every world that still dreams of freedom. Thousands of human and allied ships accelerated toward the enemy. The stars themselves seemed to tremble as the greatest battle in galactic history began. Chapter 46, Fire Among the Stars. The battle erupted across the enemy system. Human warships unleashed railguns, plasma cannons, and drone swarms, while allied fleets attacked from every direction. Entire squadrons disappeared in flashes of light. But for every Harbinger destroyed, another emerged from hyperspace. The war had reached its climax. Chapter 47, The Ancient Secret. During the battle, Dr. Maya Chen uncovered hidden data inside a captured Harbinger. The terrifying creatures were not the galaxy's original rulers. They had been created millions of years ago by an ancient civilization as guardians. When their creators vanished, the Guardians twisted their final command: protect life. To them, the safest way to protect the galaxy was to eliminate every civilization before it could become a threat. They had become prisoners of a broken purpose. Chapter 48. The Final Transmission. Using the captured Harbinger's communication core, humanity broadcast a signal across the battlefield. Dr. Maya Chen transmitted the original command code left by the ancient creators. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then the winged creatures stopped attacking. One by one, the Harbingers powered down. The endless war fell silent. Chapter 49. A New Dawn. With the Harbingers no longer hostile, the surviving civilizations began rebuilding together. Worlds that had hidden in fear emerged once again. Trade routes reopened. Knowledge was shared. Humanity, once an unknown species from a small blue planet, became the bridge that united the galaxy. Earth was remembered not as the world that won the war, but as the world that ended it. Chapter 50. Terrors No More. Years later, children looked up at the night sky without fear. The stars were no longer symbols of danger. They were invitations to explore. A monument stood on Earth honoring every life lost during the invasion, including Captain Elena Ross. Carved into its stone were the words, "Courage turned fear into hope. Unity turned survival into victory." And as humanity's newest starship disappeared into the endless cosmos, one truth echoed across the galaxy. The terrors from the sky had become the guardians of peace, and humanity's greatest adventure had only just begun. The end.
If you enjoyed this HFY Chronicles story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey across the stars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.